time has come for us all, citizens of the world, to join together in song. All the mothers, the fathers, the brothers, the sisters in unity. Let us all sing the melody to save the world. A call for all.
We're going to just chat about this amazing video that I've watched and that the whole world will be watching. We would like to get some background information about it, because that would be very interesting to hear how this was done, how it was put together. But let's first start with Mr. Afrika Mkhize, who can give us maybe, Afrika, can you just tell us what was your role in this production? And then give us a bit of background about the message and all that.
Well, my involvement in this production is that I came in as a producer and also as a composer of the song. I had originally gotten a phone call from a Swiss gentleman by the name of Mark Roth, and he was interested in doing a song to try. He was interested in finding a way of helping with the situation in terms of musicians not having work because we are all on lockdown, and the idea was to do a song that would benefit musicians who are not gigging, you know. And people forget that they are artists who have some kind of benefit in terms of, you know, the artists who have mechanical royalties or performance royalties, but it's not every single musician that gets access to royalties. I mean, if you're just a drummer or a bass player or a backing vocalist, you don't have access to royalties. The only way you can make a living is through performing and doing studio sessions. So really the idea was to help those kind of musicians who are unable to work. And, you know, so the idea was to really raise funding for those musicians. And these are professional musicians, you know, with degrees and, you know, even masters and PhDs. And that's how hard the situation is. So this was our contribution to alleviate that situation. Mm-hmm.
And the inspiration for it, the message, what do you want the message to be?
Well, like as I said, I came in I can only speak in as a composer. Lindelani was involved as an author or as a lyricist. So he would know more about the message that he wrote about. Because I did the instrumentation as a composer. Lindelani and Zanzi, Makeba Lee, and also Zamombucho, they wrote the lyrics for the song. But since Lindelani, content of the song.
Now let's go to Lindelani then, and him talk a little bit about the message and the idea behind the song.
Well, firstly, good day to everybody. It's an honor to be here. The song came about once it was pretty much done. The only thing that was needed was really the final verse. And I guess I had to kind of pick up on what I felt from the other lyricists. And it really was about us coming together and facing this collective problem collectively. So I feel that right now we are in a challenge that we've never really seen before. This is something that has devastated the world in a way that nobody was prepared for. So in all realistic perspective, it's important for all of us to approach this together, because there literally is no other way for us to deal with it. We have to consider each other, we have to consider ourselves, and that's the only way for us to remain healthy and eventually defeat this virus.
Now we'll get back to you to talk a little bit about how, on your side, how weird it is or how difficult it might have been to perform when you're alone and you have to perform with others who are not physically with you. Yes. But let's speak to Afrika. Let him talk a little bit about the mechanics of it, the producing of it, when you work with artists that are not with you.
Okay, it was fun. It was difficult, but it was also fun at the same time. There's an app that you can download on a phone or on any of your devices called BandLab. So all the artists, all the vocalists basically downloaded that app, which is quite interesting because it's a multi-track recording app. So you can do you can have 4 stereo tracks and have the instrumental and mute the instrumental, put your headphones on and do a vocal. And I had to receive those vocals from the singers about maybe 10 times. They had to send it because sometimes there's birds flying and you can hear that on the recording, or there's a car driving by. And I was like, hey, my brother or my sister, can you please do that again and send it to me? I can hear there's a truck or there's an ambulance. And so it was really frustrating because, sometimes artists, some people were going to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning because we really wanted to get some good quality, but that's how it was done. Fortunately, I have a studio, so I was able, including Lindelani, he also has a studio. So it was easier for us to basically to get all the audio files and start twigging them and try and get a good quality out of it. But it was only essentially me and Lindelani. We're the only 2 people who basically have studios. Nobody else had access to the studio. So most of the technical aspect of the work came from myself and Lindelani.
And are you happy with the result?
Yes, I'm happy. Look, you cannot replace being in a studio, being able to physically see someone and talk to them. And, for instance, I always tell singers, you're too close to the mic, step back. Those kind of things I cannot, I don't have control over. But what's interesting is that I think after the whole coronavirus thing is over, certain things that we've learned or that we are learning now are probably going to stay the same. I think that we'll see a lot of projects where people, you can work with someone in Kenya or Japan. I think there's something positive that's going to come out of this.
That's amazing. Lindelani, can you talk a little bit about as a performer, what is it like for you to participate in this where you're not physically in contact with your other participants? Because usually you feed off each other, but this is now totally different.
Yes. Well, I can speak in 2 capacities. I am a performing artist and a producer as well. So I guess I did have a little bit of an advantage because of that. As a producer, we are used to receiving bits and pieces and slowly working towards creating the whole. However, as a performer, I also know how important, if not integral, it is to share the energy with your fellow performers so that you can approach it in a cohesive way. And it's not always easy when you're alone, so it kind of forces you to rely on your interpretation. And as much as that might lead to great results, which I think it did in this case, sometimes you do want to be able to have those simple human conversations that influence us as writers, very much so. So with that being said, though, we did all rise to the occasion, and regardless of the challenges, we made the song together. And I think that goes back to what Afrika was saying. It's really about us finding innovative ways to approach our business, our livelihoods now, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And even when it does pass, there's still very useful skills we can cultivate during this time.
Kwame sent some vocals as well on the tune. This is my son, Kwame.
Did he sing some?
Yeah, he was singing the backing vocals.
Tell me, let him talk.
Yeah, Kwame.
What did you sing?
I didn't really sing that much.
Yeah, but you did. What was it?
Yes. I guess it was maybe just to let the other children know it's gonna be all right. Nobody has to panic, Yeah.
Cool. No, thank you very much.
To access the song, one would have to go to MMR Solutions Entertainment, and then there's an option where you can actually donate money, and then there's also an option where you can actually go to the social media. You can basically purchase the song on iTunes and other platforms. But MMR.Solutions Entertainment, there's a Facebook page as well. So you have those 2 options to actually purchase the track online, and you can make a donation for the beneficiaries. So there are like about 50 beneficiaries that have been chosen to benefit from, from the proceeds from this track. And I mean, we really hope that people can donate, and we also get paid from, as musicians, we get paid from people purchasing the tune for, session musicians. Yeah.
Lindelani, just to come back to you, is this something you would pursue and do more of?
Definitely. I'm actually in the process of another song right now with a Cameroonian artist by the name of Queen Eteme. She has a very similar concept that she's doing in Central and West Africa in French. So a lot of Francophone countries will be able to relate to it a bit more. And it focuses more on the importance of hygiene and the use of masks and all of that. So she did a song right now. We're working on a remix. It should be done pretty soon.
On the song Masibambaneni, Let's Unite, we have featured Zanzi Makebali, we have featured Bongeni Ngema, Pops Mohammed, Lindelani Lee, Lindelani, can you remind me of some of the names? Sutugazi Arosi, Zamombuto, we have Fana Zulu on bass, we have Benny Spoikani on drums, we have Godfrey Nzina on percussions, also a lot of cats. We have Pindam Tia on vocals, we have Kwame Mkhize on backing vocals. Wow, we have the list done. So we've got and Madala Gunene, I think that's very important. So it's a total of about 14 artists that are participating on the track. And so, I mean, I just really hope that people can really have a trip and really enjoy the tune on mmr.solutionsentertainment.
It was nice talking to you guys. Good luck with future projects of this kind.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll definitely do a lot more. Yeah.
Thank you very much.